So, here's the most life-changing idea that I've ever come across. And once you see it, you're never going to be able to unsee it, I can tell you that. It helped me to care a little less about what people think. It helped me make a lot more money, but also just understand how the world truly works, so that you can exploit it in a non-asshole way. So here you go. Reality as we know it exists in two squares. We got the inner square, the outer square. The inner square is the societal frame. Inside the societal frame, you'll find what's normal. What we together as a group of people have said, hey, this is normal, and oh, that guy moving to Bali at 24 with his online business, fuck that guy, that's not normal, we don't like that, right? Societal frame. So if you like it there, in that societal frame, in that inner square, then your job is to not walk outside the lines of what's normal. You should follow the norm, and then everybody and everything is gonna leave you alone. You're gonna feel no resistance and all the comfort, right? And I'm not saying this ironically or sarcastically, like there's nothing wrong with this. All the power to anyone making decisions, right? But nobody is gonna resist what you do because you're following the rules and you're not reminding anyone else of what they could do with their lives, right? So because it's the ordinary, and now things are gonna get interesting, you face no external resistance, but you face internal resistance. That's the trade-off. Internal resistance meaning, why do I have such low energy? Why can't I stop scrolling, binge eating, playing video games? Why can I not escape these cycles? Why does it feel like there's something missing? Internal resistance. And we're gonna cycle back to this in a second. But let's talk about the outer frame. The authentic frame. In the outer square, there is absolutely no societal boundaries. You get to decide where those boundaries are. Which means, right, you can design your own life. Amazing, right? However, every inch that you take outward is gonna face massive resistance from people and from organizations. That's how the world works. Anyone stepping out that societal frame. Example, in the Netherlands, we fucking hate people that go to Bali with an online business. For some reason, people, obviously understandable, we are sitting here in this shitty weather, and then people are building an online business, they earn more, work less, and are, riding around on scooters in Bali. That's obviously, annoying. But so these people step out of the societal frame and they get absolute hate on Instagram. Like this is, I don't know, a Dutch thing, I don't know. Beautiful example of people who are in the societal frame. I get a job because that's what we do. I do this because that's what we do. Hey, that guy is doing something else. Fuck that guy, right? Right? So you face no external resistance, right? You can live in an authentic frame, design your own life, how you want to live it, but you're gonna be facing a resistance that wants to correct you back into the norm, which is just, that's what it is. So the trade-off, face external resistance instead of internal resistance, and the rewards here are freedom, extra resources, right? You can gain more resources this way than doing the, let's say, standard 9 to 5 and the standard, you're taking an extraordinary path, so you can get extraordinary amounts of resources. But most importantly, the ability to put those boundaries now wherever you want to place them, right? If you want to go full crazy, live, scuba diver teacher in Aruba specifically, but also crypto trader and magician part-time, I don't know. You can do whatever you want and design those boundaries exactly as you want it, at the cost of external resistance. And so what's that external resistance? Well, 3 things. You want to create content instead of, consume 6 hours of content like we're all doing, right? Like you should be doing too. That's normal. If you want to create content, well, we're going to judge the hell out of you. That's fear of judgment, posing as resistance. Resistance that stops you from creating content. I mean, hell, it took me about a year to face that fear of judgment and post my first YouTube video. You want to approach the girl instead of use the dating apps like we're all doing, right? Like, that's normal. That's the thing that you should be doing, right? We can all have our own opinions about it, but approaching women on the street in a respectful, kind fashion, to me, sounds more admirable and I guess more natural. But still, if you go that route, you face fear of rejection, right? And that's number 2. Number 3, and probably the most powerful one, is simply fear of the unknown. The moment that you remove those societal boundaries, those 4 walls, the moment you remove those, you don't know, it's empty space, right? There's no boundaries anymore. They're up to you where you're going to place them, how you're going to do everything. But the moment you step out of that societal frame, you step into the unknown. And the fear of the unknown is the absolute biggest corrector, the biggest external resistance that keeps people in check as good citizens inside that frame. And that's what we're afraid of, to be judged, to not have the answers, and to be rejected. Most of this has to do with judgment and resistance coming from people inside the societal frame. And that's what you're scared of. That's what I am often still scared of. These are the triggers that keep you between the lines. And now what this means for how this world works, and this absolutely blew my mind when I learned about this. I went into this rabbit hole. This means that if you wanted to control the world, you only need to control the norm. Because then people and organizations are going to correct people for you. So I'm not talking about conspiracy theories, I'm talking about dynamics of this world. What I find interesting about this is when you see this, when you genuinely see this, that the way that the winners and the losers, the creators and the consumers, the way the world is split into 2 camps, people that seem to live in an authentic frame and people that seem to be kind of captured and limited, the thing that I've been afraid of since I was young, that it all comes down to nothing that's real. It all comes down to fear, to resistance, to a choice between, do I face external resistance, some fear of people judging, rejecting me, not knowing exactly what's gonna happen? Do I let that dictate my life? Choose a life where I'm gonna be fighting internally, fighting myself all my life. Will you choose a life fighting yourself or fighting resistance? The moment I realized that is when my life changed. This is when I quit smoking weed when I was 21, heavily addicted to porn, video games, and weed. I just completely fried my dopamine system on a daily. I was skipping classes, and this almost got the best of me, right? Until 21, and I realized this. It's like, I'm fighting myself. There's nobody forcing me to do this. I'm choosing to fight myself rather than to fight this resistance. And yes, it will be there every fucking day, this external resistance. It's not going away. It will be there every day. But which path do you choose? Because you know where these paths lead. They lead either to a life in the inner square, heavily limited, filled with regrets and unexpressed desires, or it leads to a life where you get to place the goalpost, where you get to place the boundaries and say, this is how I want to design my life. And it allows you to be sovereign. It allows you to live life as a sovereign creator. And this is not just some theory. I think with your own intuition, you know that this is how the world works. I just know it to be true because I've seen both sides of the spectrum, both extremes of the spectrum. And the funny thing being, the people that support you in the beginning, when you kind of want to nudge towards the boundaries, like, you go for it, still excited for you. The moment you establish yourself somewhat in that outer square, right? The moment start to making an income that's very different than a salary job. Those same friends and people that supported me, I felt their tension when I was talking about what I did and how it was going. While those same people will also never know the external resistance you have to go through for years to even get to a position like that. But that's what it is. You have to choose your camp, and you're gonna find people. You're gonna find people in your outer square, right? And the reason for it is very simple, because we don't like to be reminded of the fact that we had the same decision, that we have the same choice to step out of the inner square, out of that societal frame, those limitations that we inflict upon each other. That also that person judging you or me had the same luxury, the same option. We don't want to be reminded of our cowardice. We don't want to be reminded of the dreams we gave up when we were younger, those desires that we let pass. And then this fucking guy on Bali comes along, making more money than you do with a 9 to 5. Yeah, it's gonna piss you off. It's horrible, it sucks. And I'm not saying that, that's the perfect ideal of, living in an authentic frame, to be on Bali and do that influencer life. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that you get to design your life exactly how you want it, as a sovereign creator. And understanding that, and that this is how the world works, that there is a decision between fighting yourself or fighting the external resistance. And then as you fight the external resistance and slowly design your own life, to get comfortable in the unknown, understanding then that this rejection and judgment has nothing to do with you, that you are actually completely free from that. And so tomorrow when you wake up, you get to decide, do I fight myself today or do I fight the resistance? And that's a decision you have to make every single day. And if you made it this far into the video, then you and I both know which of those two decisions is the right decision for you. And in more practical terms, of course, that life of the sovereign creator who lives in that authentic frame, in that space, in that freedom, that person, of course, needs to build his own audience and his own business. If you are interested in that sovereign life, then join the Sovereign Creator community. There's a bunch of resources, including literally my whole vehicle of making money online. I give away everything for free so that you can just use it yourself. And if you need help with anything, of course, you can get in touch with me there. But yeah, if you're a coach, consultant, or creator, join that community. We gotta stick together. We gotta stick together, man. See you in the next one.